No. All right, Cowboys win. What's new? All we do is win. Sometimes we lose, but we don't talk about that. All right, y'all watch it? Anybody watch football this weekend? Football? Americano? No? All right. Anybody watch Cowboys? All right, all right. All right, we got to get on board. This is our championship season. Y'all want to be there from the beginning with Mr. G. We're going to celebrate every Monday when we win, right? Everyone's going to wear their jerseys. All right, well, anyways. If you got it, wear it with pride, you know? And if you got shoes or socks, you know, you gotta represent, you know? So it is what it is. All right. Well, that being said, welcome back. It's another new week. You grab your warm-ups on the way in, right? If you need a new one on Tuesday through Friday, they're in the blue bin. Also, make sure you turned in last week's warm-up if you were absent or if you forgot to turn it in, whatever, okay? So no one's got headphones, right? No headphones. All right, here we go. On Friday, we did some notes, which if you need them, they're in the blue bin, right? But we talked about what is a function. A function, actually, let me ask y'all, do y'all remember how to tell if something's a function? What do you look for in the table? Well, let me point this out here. Okay, so on the notes last time, right here, we said that the x's do not repeat. Okay, now this is from last time. So basically, each x can only have one y. So the x does not repeat. So let me bring it back here. On number 1, do any of these x values repeat? No. So that means each x has exactly one y. So yes, that's a function. Because the x values are all different. Okay? What about number 2? Well, do any of these x's repeat? Yeah, you got positive 2 and positive 2. That's the same x, but different y's. It's like having 2 girlfriends or 2 boyfriends. That does not function. No, okay? So, the x repeats, or there's more than one x with a different y, therefore not a function. Okay? So, again, if on a table or a bunch of points, if the x repeats, it's not a function. As long as x does not repeat, it is a function, okay? Now, we're going to do some quick notes on some linear key features. Don't forget to always write down this blue sentence at the top. That's 5 points. The rest of the warm-up is 15 points, 20 points a day, times 5 equals 100 every week, right? So make sure you always write down all of the warm-up. Back to this. Now, let's look at the top here. First things first, on your sheet, it doesn't say this, but can you write down the word notes right here? I printed the one that did not say notes. My bad. But these are notes. So, right now, everybody, write them down. They're notes at the top, next to linear, or at the top, either way. Okay, now you might have hopefully seen stuff like this in middle school, but we're going to make sure we know this, okay? Now look, first thing on the left, you got to know about slope, okay? So, slope is sometimes what people will say, but you might also see this phrase. Do you see that says rate of change? Okay? I'm here to tell you, slope is rate of change. They're the same thing. Sometimes you'll hear them ask for the slope. Sometimes they'll ask you for rate of change. You have to know that they're the same thing. So class, what's the other name for slope? Rate of change. Very good. What's the other name for rate of change? Slope, not function. Okay. Slope and rate of change are the same thing. Now, here's a way to make it more confusing. Guess what letter represents slope and rate of change? It's not S, it's not R, it's M. Okay? So look, slope and rate of change are the M of an equation. Now, why did they choose M? I don't know. But here's one way to remember. Draw yourself a little mountain. How do you climb a mountain? Well, you got to go up the slopes. So M, you think of a mountain slope. Okay? M for mountain slope. That's one way to think about it. Cool. It's just a mountain. It's just a mountain. Just draw a mountain. I wrote the word mountain on it. Yeah. So M is your slope. Now, what is slope? Well, it tells us right here. Slope is rise over run. Have y'all heard that before? Rise over run. Okay. Oh my gosh. Here. Oh. Now let's say I fumble this ball. Like every team that plays against the Cowboys, they just can't hold the ball. Fumble! Now, what am I going to do? I want to go get that touchdown. What am I going to do? We'll get that ball, right? All right, so is everyone watching? I'm giving you an example here. Hey, look. Necesito. All right? Oh, I got the ball. All right? Now, wait a minute. I want to go get a touchdown. So what do I got to do? What do I do first? You want me to run like this? No, I'm not going to run like I don't have any legs. I'm going to do what? I'm going to rise. And then, all right, I'm going to give him that stutter step. I'm going to juke him a little bit. Going to leap over him. And we'll get that touchdown. Cowboys win the Super Bowl. Mr. G, MVP, right? Okay, so again, I want you to imagine Mr. G taking up the ball. And what does he do? He's got to rise, and then he got to run. Okay? Rise, over, run. That's slope. Make sense? Whew, I'm out of breath. So check it out. Rise, over, run, like you're standing up to go somewhere. Let's count it. Now, in our English language and related, okay, we go from left to right. Okay? I want you to put points on these 2 points right here. Go ahead and put a little point right here. Go ahead and make that bolder. And right here. So I want you to see these 2 points. Okay? Now, the point that you start on is on the left, like you're reading it from left to right. You're going to start here and go to here, from left to right. Okay? I think of it for me, now maybe you're not familiar with this, okay? But back in the old days, the video games you used to play, they were always going from left to right, like a side scroller. The Mario or the Sonic or whatever was going from left to right, the whole game, okay? So that's how you're thinking of slope. You're always going to be running to the right, but the question is, which way am I rising? Am I rising up or am I rising down? Which sounds weird, okay? So let's look at this. I'm going to start at the left point. And how much does it rise? How many units is that? 2. And then how much does it run? How many units is that? 1. Okay? It rises 2 up. It runs 1 to the right. And I get 2 over 1. It's positive 2 because it went up. It's positive 1 because it went right. Those are both positive directions. And then 2 over 1, any number divided by 1 stays the same whole number, okay? So that's it. And again, you're thinking of the old school video game. You're thinking that the way you read from left to right, if it's going up from left to right, that's called an increasing positive linear equation. As you go to the right, what is it doing? Up is positive. As it goes to the right, down would be negative. Okay, but this is positive, right? Now, off to the right here, it says y-intercept. Now, do you know what letter represents y-intercept? Because it ain't y, which is weird. It's going to be B. Going right, B. And the way I remember B is that it's the beginning. Where do I begin to graph this equation? Okay, well, it points to it. On the y-axis, it begins right there at what number? 2. Okay. So I'm going to write 2. That's just like the number for the y-intercept, the B value. But the way you write it as an ordered pair, on Friday we talked about an ordered pair. That's the one with parentheses and a comma, okay? 2 is my y-intercept, so that's when the x is 0. So that's 0, comma 2 for my y-intercept, okay? So in an equation, you would just write 2, but the ordered pair is 0, comma 2. Okay, now for an equation of a linear equation, all you need is slope and y-intercept, m and b, to make an equation, okay? But sometimes they're going to ask you for the x-intercept. Now, what's another name for an x-intercept? Zeros. It says it right here, right? Now, before we move on, there are 2 other names for an x-intercept and a 0. We touched on it last time. Do y'all remember the other 2 names of an x-intercept and a 0? All right, look. Here's our notes. It was at the end. Another name for an x-intercept and a 0 is a root and a solution. Does everyone see this list of 4 words? Okay, look. If I ask you, what's another name for an x-intercept, what does it say? A 0. What's another name for a 0? A root. What's another name for a root? A solution. I'm telling you, you're going to see all 4 of these being asked, and they all mean the same thing. Where does it cross the x-axis? Okay? So again, what's another name for an x-intercept? Solution, or root, or 0. They're all the same thing. So let's fill it in on these notes. X-intercept, 0. What's another one? Solution and root. You got to know all 4 of these mean the same thing. Where does it cross the x? Make sure you write this down. This little piece right here. That's not the blank though, is it? Yeah. Look what I did. Compare what I did. Now, this can be written as blank or blank. So you tell me, what is the number value of the x-intercept? It looks like a 1, but it's covering up the negative. It's to the left of 0, right? So this is a -1. Or how do I write that as an ordered pair? -1, comma 0. I want you to notice the y-intercept is when the x is 0. The x-intercept is when the y is 0. Notice the difference in the ordered pairs of the y-intercept and the x-intercept. Notice where the zeros are. Okay? So that's it for this first one. Look at all the stuff you can find out from just a straight line. The slope, the rise over run, is it increasing or positive, or is it decreasing and negative? What's the y-intercept, where it begins? What's the roots, zeros, solutions, x-intercepts? Same thing. Okay, so if we could do it once, we could do it twice. Look at the bottom half. Does anyone still need this? Okay, bottom half. What is the slope? So do we start on the left or the right? Like we're reading, we start on the left and we're going to go to the right. So put a point here and put a point here. Usually this stuff is on a grid like this, okay? But nonetheless, you'll see those 2 points. Start on the left. which way does it rise to get to the next point? Like which direction, up or down? It goes down. If you're starting on the left, it goes down 3. So what should I write for my rise? But since it goes down, we want to use a negative sign. Okay. So whenever you rise down, whenever you go down, negative, right? Like you're falling down. Okay? So negative 3, and then how much does it run? What's the little run here? 1. It runs 1 to the right. Okay. So negative 3 over 1. Any number over 1 is the same number, so it's negative 3. Okay. Negative 3 over 1, so it's negative 3. Now notice, since it's going to the, they're always going to the right, but since it's going down to the right instead of up to the right, this is called decreasing or a negative linear equation. Almost done. Whatever you need to do, but I'm just saying, we're almost done. Now, the y-intercept, where does it cross the y-axis? What number is this? 6. The other way you can write it is 0, 6, right? And then x-intercept, 0. Let's go ahead and write root solution, just so we always know that these 4 things are the same thing. I'm going to repeat it over and over and over because one day I hope it gets lodged into your memory bank that you know whenever you hear root, solution, or 0, it's the same thing as an x-intercept. So where does it cross the x-axis? What number is this? 2, and the way you would write it as an ordered pair, 2 is the x-intercept, so the y is 0. Okay, that's about it. Okay, so all the stuff we just showed that I did show you, all the stuff we just saw is what you're going to be doing on this practice. So keep that out as a guide. You should be able to find slope, y-intercept, and x-intercept. Okay. All right. Go ahead and get started, please.